Chapter 281 Bloody Blade Team, set off. Chapter 281, Bloody Blade Team, set off. After 3 days, Wuxia sat on the ground with his legs crossed, in the center of the yard where the 9th squad lived. He was surrounded by heavy fog, which was transformed by sword essence. A realm of sword essence covered an area of around a dozen meters. A large amount of gray fog began to gather together. It became denser and denser, almost condensing into the water. In the end, the gray fog gradually dissipated. I'm still a step away from it. Wuxia shook his head. As for 3 movement of the sword realm, the first move, sword fog, was easily comprehended. He had mastered it after practicing for 3 days. However, it was quite difficult for him to master sword tide and sword sea, the second move and the third move respectively. Few people had mastered the second move in the Daluo Heaven sect. Although Wuxia had a peerless gift in his sword principle, he could not master the second move in such a short time. After all, he had just gained the sword skill. Wuxia stood up and walked toward the stone table. 2 members of his squad were drinking by the table. Watching Wuxia come over, one of them smiled and called out, "Swordsman, you've practiced for half a day and haven't taken a break. Are you practicing too hard?" "What do you know? If he had not practiced so hard, how would he have ever gained such strength at his age?" The other member replied. They both treated Wuxia with great enthusiasm and warm respect. 3 days ago, when he just arrived here, Wuxia fought with his teammates in a series of light bouts. They had not taken the fight seriously at first when they discovered Wuxia had just reached the initial Yang Void realm. However, when the fight began, they were shocked by the sheer battle potential Wuxia could bring. Except for Tai Shan, who barely managed to force a draw with Wuxia, the other 8 teammates were defeated one after another. They hadn't known, however, that Wuxia did not use his full strength even then. "Come on, have a drink." Then Wuxia sat by the table and started to drink with them. After a while, a tall and strong figure appeared by their side. It was Tai Shan. "Come on out." Tai Shan spoke loudly enough to be heard throughout the entire courtyard. The team members began walking out of their rooms and came to the stone table. "Boss, what happened?" Amoing asked. Wuxia looked toward Tai Shan. "I've just received news that another protector was killed last night," Tai Shan replied seriously. "What?" Such news shocked everyone, though they didn't allow it to show. It was unexpected that a protector of the Heartless sect, who was a top expert on the Bloodmoon list, was killed. "Which protector died?" Wuxia asked. "Protector Xue Leng," Tai Shan answered. Xue Leng ranked well over the 900th position, and was considered the weakest of the 8 protectors. Protector Xue Leng could have carried out his task. No one knows how the Demon's Island found his location. He was killed by the 3 devils of Demon's Island, Tai Shan added. Wuxia was a little bit surprised. Both the Heartless sect and Demon's Island belonged to the 4 factions of Skywave Prefecture. Bei Mu and Leng Yang had said that Heartless sect had many fierce fights with Demon's Island. Demon's Island was not weaker than Heartless sect. Their island master was also an expert at the half-saint level, and the 7 devils were experts on the Bloodmoon list. It was little wonder how Xue Leng had not been able to escape when pressed by 3 devils at once. Protector Xue Leng was killed. After receiving the news, our master and the other protector were furious, and must be planning to take revenge on Demon's Island. "They'll probably need us, so we should prepare for it," Tai Shan explained. On hearing this, the experts of the team were not nervous, but instead rather excited. "Finally, it's our turn? The last time we got out was a half a month ago already. Haha, let the battle be vicious and bloody." The experts talked and laughed. Wuxia wore a slight smile, with a flicker of expectation in his eyes. Sure enough, the call came just half a day later. "Bloody Blade Team, assemble." A loud voice rang out above Heartless City, causing a turmoil throughout the city. The experts of Bloody Blade Team, who had been prepared, leaped up that very same moment. The 10 squads had assembled in the blink of an eye. The middle-aged Wuxia stood in front of the experts, with 2 other protectors by his side. One of the protectors was Bei Mu. Wuxia glanced at experts with cold eyes. Then he waved his hand. "Move out." Wuxia and the 2 protectors led the Bloody Blade Team out of Heartless City. There are 3 protectors and 100 experts at the peak of the Yang Void realm. Just what are we going to do? Are we launching a frontal attack against Demon's Island? Wuxia mumbled. "I doubt it's just a frontal assault. Taishan shook his head. Our Bloody Blade team is the trump card of Heartless Sect. If we weren't aiming for a decisive battle, we would have never set out. Whatever he does, I will follow the three protectors' orders, Xue beside Jian Wuxuang said. Although they still were unclear as to what their mission was, they were still excited. After half a day they arrived before a city. That is, Golden Wing City? Taishan frowned and asked, Isn't Golden Wing City the territory of the Wing Gang? What are we doing here? Wing Gang. The other squads also felt surprised. Wing Gang was also a powerful force in Skywave Prefecture. It had two masters who had managed to enter their names upon the Bloodmoon list. One of their masters, Xin Tianyu, ranked higher than the other. Except for the two masters, their force's strength was rather ordinary. The Wing Gang was much weaker than Heartless Sect or Demon's Island. Listen. Wu Jiao suspended in front of the experts and said in a cold voice, Yesterday Protector Su Leng was killed by experts from Demon's Island. According to our reliable information, it's the Wing Gang which told the Protector's location to Demon's Island, so our duty today is to wipe out the Wing Gang and butcher their two masters. Chapter 282, Blocking Him. Chapter 282, Blocking Him. Understood. The experts of Bloody Blade team were finally clear about their task. The Wing Gang was their target. It was no wonder that they came to Golden Wing City. Listen, Wu Jiao said in a low voice, the 1st and 6th squads follow me into the lair of Wing Gang, the other 4 squads go and hold the 4 gates of the city. The 7th squad go to the east gate. The 8th squad go the west gate. The 9th squad go to the south gate. The 10th squad go to the north gate. Anyone that dares to escape, slaughter without forgiveness. Go. After Wu Jiao gave the order, he and the other 2 protectors immediately led the 6 squads into Golden Wing City. The remaining squads stood there and looked at each other with resignation. After a while, the deafening roars came out from every corner of the city, indicating that the war had broken out. Near the south gate of Golden Wing City, the 9th squad quietly suspended themselves above the void and watched the fierce fight inside the city with gruesome looks. Bastards, they can slaughter in the city while we hold here. Xue curled his lips. Well, that's the Wu Jiao's order, we can't disobey it. Taishan spoke with a wry look. They thought they could have a fierce fight and enjoy slaying their foes, but never expected things to turn out like this. The other 6 squads ran amok, slaughtering crazily in the city, while they had to wait outside. Just wait and see. This war has only just begun. Wing Gang is barely hanging on, but they won't fight for long. The experts of Wing Gang will break and flee in a crazy panic soon enough. Then we'll carry out our duties, Jian Wuxuang said with a smile. Though it'll be like that, we still won't be able to enjoy the slaughter within the city, Xue murmured. Say no more and wait patiently. Even if we can't join this fight, we'll wait for the next time, Taishan said, so the other experts no longer complained about it. After an hour, a voice loudly echoed, Run! The voice rang out across the city. Then numerous experts of Wing Gang started to run away in a shattered retreat. Go to the north gate. Hurry! As the shout came out, a large number of experts ran toward the north gate like bees. Looking at this, the experts of the 9th squad knew that their last hope was shattered. The experts of Wing Gang are running toward the north gate opposite to us. It looks like that we won't have a chance to fight. Xue curled his lips again. The others also felt disappointed. They were eager for a fierce fight, but they didn't get the chance. However, at the moment, Jian Wuxuang suddenly raised his head, so did the other experts. They saw a figure leap out above the void and dashed in their direction. Haha, we still have an opportunity. There's one left for us. Xue grinned. Obviously, the man was escaping from Golden Wing City. He must belong to the Wing Gang. This man? Taishan raised his brow and looked toward the man. The next moment he was shocked. It is Xin Tianyu, the chief of Wing Gang. What? The other experts were startled and looked toward the man with expressions of shock and worry. As the figure got closer, they could clearly see his appearance. The man, with a head of short hair and bushy whiskers, held a cyan saber with a roaring breath. He looked the same as Xin Tianyu indeed. That's him without a doubt. Taishan's face fell. How sly he is. He asks all the experts to escape from the north gate while he himself is quietly running to the south gate. I'm afraid our protectors haven't uncovered the ruse yet. Boss, what shall we do? A teammate asked. What else can we do? Block him. Tai Shan shouted in a low voice. The ninth squad immediately darted to Shen Tianyu. Shen Tianyu was running like a drowned rat. His eyes were cold and vicious, but his appearance was in a shambles. I thought our Wing gang did well in this covert operation, and didn't expect that the Heartless sect would discover it. If I had known this outcome, I would have never disclosed Su Lang's position to Demon's Island. If I hadn't, our Wing gang would not have been annihilated this day. Shen Tianyu felt regretful, but now it was useless. He only hoped that he could survive in this attack. At that moment he saw 10 figures rushing to him. Shen Tianyu's face changed. The Heartless sect is really prudent. I didn't expect that they arranged their people outside. But a small squad cannot block me. Shen Tianyu snorted. Then his tremendous killing intent emitted out. Stop him. Tai Shan shouted, a huge copper hammer appearing in his hand. The hammer looked heavy, weighing around 5,000 kilograms, but it could be easily waved by Tai Shan. Surrounded by circles of fire waves, the hammer directly lashed against Shen Tianyu with a fiery bombardment. The other teammates launched their attacks using all their strength. They had not planned to be able to directly kill Shen Tianyu with their efforts, as they knew that Shen Tianyu was a top expert on the Bloodmoon list and could slaughter a large number of experts at the peak of the Yang Void Realm. Therefore their squad only expected that they could block Shen Tianyu and pray for the three protectors' arrival. Faced with their attacks, Shen Tianyu just sneered and waved his cyan saber. Get out of my way. A huge knife shadow, covering half of the sky, dashed out as if it had split the heaven and earth in two. The scary power shattered their attacks and even sent them flying in an instant. This was all accomplished with but a single stroke. A group of trash wanted to block me? Shen Tianyu glared with disdain and continued to move forward. Suddenly a black figure blocked his way. It was Wuxia. The other 9 teammates had struck a blow to block Shen Tianyu, but only Wuxia had not shown a move. Another fly. Shen Tianyu did not bother glancing at Wuxia, and instead immediately launched an attack. Wuxiang's eyes suddenly became cold. Chapter 283, Leave this man to me. Chapter 283, Leave this man to me. Shen Tianyu ranks 489th on the Bloodmoon list and has comprehended Gale Source. He had a fierce fight with a half-saint expert for a long time, even though he lost. This man was qualified for me to use my full strength. Wuxia recalled the information about Shen Tianyu, as a powerful battle intent emanated from his body. Buzzing, a cold streak of blade light split the void and appeared in front of Wuxia. Wuxia curled his lips and evoked his spiritual power. When his arm was full of power, he waved slightly. Then his triple kill sword, carrying great momentum, lashed out. Shen Tianyu had not put him in his eyes. He had beaten away the Tai Shan and the other 8 with one stroke. Even an ordinary expert at the peak of the Yang Void Realm could not block his casual strike. However, the moment his opponent's stroke collided with his saber, Shen Tianyu suddenly raised his head in surprise, because he felt a strong power come over. Thump. Shen Tianyu was forced to retreat nearly 100 meters away before he could stabilize his body above the void. Master, a real expert. Shen Tianyu looked toward Wuxia seriously. With just one stroke, he had perceived that Wuxia was at least stronger than Tai Shan and the other 8. Who are you? Shen Tianyu asked in a low voice. Swordsman, Wuxia replied. I've never heard of you. Shen Tianyu shook his head. Now you know. Wuxia sneered. That sounds arrogant. You dare to block me, then you'll die. Shen Tianyu's eyes became cold and his body floated up in the blink of an eye, with a gust of wind from the void. Leave this man to me. Wuxia spoke to the surprised Tai Shan and Mo Ying. Then with a stride, the triple kill sword's power roared and slashed forward. There was nothing in the void. However, a ghost-like figure appeared in this void after Wuxia struck the blow. It turned out to be Shen Tianyu. His saber light crashed with Wuxia's, causing a loud sound. As the scary power spread out, whoosh, whoosh, the 2 figures unexpectedly disappeared. Where are they? The other 9 teammates widened their eyes and stared in shock. Shen Tianyu had frightened them, while Wuxia shocked even more. They had failed to block Shen Tianyu, but Wuxia could block him by himself. Wuxia suddenly appeared above the void. A streak of white light appeared. It was so dazzling that Wuxia could not open his eyes. At this moment, the streak of light unexpectedly swept through Jian Wushuang's head. Ha! Tai Shan and the other 8 teammates could not help exclaiming. Is Jian Wushuang going to die? In fact, they did not see a drop of blood, but Jian Wushuang's body was slowly disappearing. It was just a shadow. A cold streak of sword shadow suddenly appeared behind Shen Tianyu. Shen Tianyu perceived it and turned his hand over to block it. With a loud bang, the two of them disappeared again. How fast? Tai Shan and the other 8 teammates were stunned by what happened. A deep ravine suddenly appeared on the ground. Obviously it was caused by the long sword. Then with a loud boom, another deep hole appeared. Though they were experts at the peak of the Yang Void realm and were looking carefully, they could not see the two figures. Boom. The void split in half. Shen Tianyu was suspended above the void and looking at Jian Wushuang seriously. He no longer looked down on Jian Wushuang. He's just reached the initial Yang Void realm. It's out of my expectation that he could catch up with me. Shen Tianyu thought in astonishment, because he himself had comprehended Gale Source. If one studied Gale Essence to the limit, one could comprehend Gale Source. Gale Source could improve speed. If he used his full strength into his speed, the ordinary half-saint experts might not catch up with him. However, Jian Wushuang, who was just at the initial Yang Void realm, was not slower than him. Shen Tianyu did not know that Jian Wushuang had comprehended world origin, which was a perfect combination of 4 kinds of essence. It meant that he was adept at each aspect including speed. More importantly, Jian Wushuang had reached momentum, much higher than Shen Tianyu's. Don't waste time with him, or I'll be in big trouble if the 3 protectors arrive, Shen Tianyu thought. Then he transformed into a gust of wind and dashed out. Boy, let's fight to the death, Shen Tianyu shouted. That's what I wanted. Jian Wushuang sneered and started to launch an attack. Sword Fog. A roaring sword essence formed the heavy fog, creating a small realm of sword essence. Shen Tianyu was oppressed by the heavy fog which affected his speed. What? Shen Tianyu's face changed, but he still maintained his momentum. 1,000 cuts. Go to hell. Shen Tianyu shouted in a low voice. A large amount of spiritual power gathered in his cyan saber and made the saber double in size. With the soaring power, the saber violently lashed out. In the blink of an eye, the heaven and earth split in 2. Selfless sword technique, 6th move. Jian Wushuang's battle strength reached the peak. The power of his triple kill sword burst out at this moment. A brilliant stroke moved forward. The 2 horrifying forces made the onlookers hold their breath. Instantly, 2 massive and horrible forces fiercely collided in the void. Boom! It shook the earth and mountain with a severe gale blowing. The next moment, a figure was repelled who spat out a mouthful of blood. It was Shen Tianyu. Chapter 284 Fool. Chapter 284, Fool. He defeated me? Shen Tianyu could not believe it. He had tried his best but lost the fight. As he was retreating, Jian Wushuang had already launched an attack on him. Covered by the heavy fog, Shen Tianyu was not able to move freely, so he looked slow and lifeless. I didn't expect that I would be killed by a nobody, Shen Tianyu stared at Jian Wushuang and said angrily. Nobody? Jian Wushuang said with a sneer, after I kill you, I won't be a nobody. The triple kill sword lashed out and immediately pierced Shen Tianyu's body, leave a big hole in his chest. Shen Tianyu's body fell to the ground. Jian Wushuang stood next to him and looked down. A top expert who ranked within 500 on the Bloodmoon list, is powerful indeed. If he had not been afraid that protectors would come and chosen to perform a frontal attack against me, I would not have killed him so easily. Jian Wushuang thought. He was quite clear that he could kill Shen Tianyu because Shen Tianyu was distracted. He had comprehended origin of the world and slaughter source, which would help him in a frontal attack, but Shen Tianyu was adept at speed, so frontal attacks were his weak point. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Tai Shan and the other 8 teammates appeared beside Jian Wushuang. Shen Tianyu is dead? Tai Shan and Mo Ying looked at the corpse in surprise. Swordsman you, said Tai Shan, staring at Jian Wushuang in shock. Now they knew Jian Wushuang just fought them for fun at that time. Shen Tianyu ranked high on the Bloodmoon list. Only one of our protectors ranks higher than him. Moreover, he had fought with a half-saint expert for a long time. Though he failed, he survived. However, now he was killed by you. This strength? Mo Ying smacked his lips and sighed. Jian Wushuang could not help but laugh. He had a fight with a half-saint expert from the Wilderness Sword sect at the gathering of the sects of the northern region. The half-saint expert was strong indeed. He had tried his best to fight, but the top expert just blocked his attack casually. Lastly, he drew with his opponent. Xin Tianyu, who could have a fierce fight with a half-saint expert, was really powerful. Whoosh! A figure rushed over and quickly appeared in front of them. Jian Rushuang and his 9 teammates immediately locked their eyes on it. Protector Wuxia. Tai Shan immediately spoke. Wuxia coldly looked at the corpse on the ground. This is Xin Tianyu? Wuxia narrowed his eyes and said. Wuxia ranked lower than Xin Tianyu on the Bloodmoon list. He and Bei Mu could only suppress Xin Tianyu, but they were not able to kill him. But now Xin Tianyu was dead. You killed Xin Tianyu? Wuxia cast a glance at them. The moment Tai Shan opened his mouth and wanted to say that Jian Rushuang killed by himself, Jian Rushuang scrambled to reply. Xin Tianyu was so confident that he did not detect that we ambushed him. We took the chance and worked together to kill him. It took us all of our strength. Oh. Wuxia looked around and saw quite a few holes, which indicated a fierce fight, so he nodded. Xin Tianyu could not block the attack from one of our squads. He wasn't as strong as I expected. Wuxia sneered, and then waved his hand to take the corpse and the interspatial ring away. You did well. Just go back to Heartless City by yourselves. After finishing his words, Wuxia left. Tai Shan and Mo Ying's face darkened. Why? Swordsman killed Xin Tianyu with great effort. Wuxia just said a few words to us and then took Xin Tianyu and his interspatial ring away. The others all felt it was unfair. Wuxia had nothing to do with Xin Tianyu's death, but he could take all the trophies away. Xin Tianyu was not only the top expert on the Bloodmoon list, but also the chief of Wing Gang. As he had managed the gang for a long time, his interspatial ring must be precious. Swordsman, you just let him go? Mo Ying looked toward Jian Rushuang. Jian Rushuang just gave a slight smile and said, just some purple crystal spiritual liquid. Even if we get them, we'll have to hand them in. How much shall we have? As long as Wuxia reports our contribution, our master won't treat us unfairly. Jian Rushuang seemed to not care about it. In fact, he did not care about the purple crystal spiritual liquid indeed. He felt that it was more important to fight against the top expert. Let's go back, Jian Rushuang said. Then they returned to the Heartless sect. Shortly after this, Wuxia and the other experts of Bloody Blade team also came back. The Bloody Blade team succeeded in this action. They not only rooted out the Wing Gang but also killed the 2 chiefs of it. After returning, Wuxia and other 2 protectors immediately went to meet the master of Heartless sect. The 9th squad gathered in their own manner, waiting quietly. Our squad got the limelight because of Swordsman, Mo Ying said with a smile. Swordsman could kill a top expert on the Bloodmoon list by himself. I think the name of Swordsman will show up on the list soon. Our squad can benefit from it. I wonder what prize our master will award us. All the members of the 9th team looked forward to it. They had made a great contribution to their sect. Therefore they should be rewarded. Shortly after, Tai Shan came back with a bad look. Looking at their teammates, especially Jian Rushuang, Tai Shan wore a complicated expression and spoke after taking a deep breath. We were fooled by Wuxia. He brought Xin Tianyu to meet our master, but he didn't mention us and said he killed Xin Tianyu with great efforts. Chapter 285 Challenging the Protector. Chapter 285 Challenging the Protector. What? All the members of the 9th squad were furious. He did not even mention us. Haha, he killed Xin Tianyu? That's ridiculous. He did it by himself? Bastard, how dare he claim the honor? Shame on him. Tai Shan and the other teammates were indignant. Then they looked toward Jian Rushuang. They did not really mind if Wuxia claimed the honor because Xin Tianyu was not killed by them, but by Jian Rushuang. Swordsman. Gu Yin lowered his voice. Jian Rushuang spoke with a faint smile. I don't care about how he claimed the honor and reward, but he didn't mention my contribution. Does he really treat me as a fool? Jian Rushuang's expression became cold. He could not tolerate such bullying. Obviously Wuxia made a fool of them. Bloody Blade team gather. A resonant voice sounded. Jian Rushuang and the other teammates suddenly raised their heads. It's Wuxia's voice, Tai Shan said. Come, let's have a look. Jian Rushuang moved forward. In the vast martial arts practice field, Wuxia sat up straight in a chair, several jars of wine placed by his side. The experts of the Bloody Blade team stood in front of Wuxia. Wuxia spoke with a flicker of joy in his eyes. Today we attacked Wing Gang and swept to victory. Everyone made a contribution. I decided to reward you with jars of Skyheart wine. You can have a drink. Skyheart wine. The legendary Skyheart wine. It's said that a small pot of Skyheart wine is worth more than 1,000 drops of purple crystal spiritual liquid. Such a huge jar equals 10 pots of it, that is to say, it should be worth 10,000 drops of purple crystal spiritual liquid. Looking at the jars of nectar, the other experts began to swallow their saliva, except that the 9th squad sniffed at it. He claimed the honor. Our sect master must have given him a large reward. Now he wants to comfort us with several jars of wine. Tai Shan sneered. How shrewd he is, several teammates said in private. Jian Wuxuang shot Wuxia a glance and lifted up the corner of his mouth. Then he strode forward. Protector Wuxia. Jian Wuxuang spoke while standing opposite Wuxia. What's the matter? Wuxia still sat there and glanced at Jian Wuxuang. I heard Protector is good at spear techniques and has killed 11 experts at the peak of the Yang Void realm within 15 minutes. Because of it, you entered the Bloodmoon list. I wonder whether you dare to have a fight with me? Jian Wuxuang spoke so loud that all the experts heard it. The word dare was full of deliberate provocation. If Wu Jiu disagreed, the other experts would laugh at him in private and would say a Protector, the top expert on the Bloodmoon list, did not even dare to accept the challenge from an ordinary member of Bloody Blade team. How smart Swordsman is, Tai Shan and other teammates said with a smile. The other experts of Bloody Blade team looked at those two with a strange look. Protector Wu Jiu, dare he accept it? Wu Jiu's face turned red with anger. He knew Jian Wuxuang did this because he claimed the honor which belonged to their squad. He snorted, You want to fight with me? An overconfident idiot. I'll accept. But I need to remind you that I never show any mercy in a fight, which means I might kill you. Haha, as long as I can fight with the top expert like you, I won't care about my life, Jian Wuxuang said while laughing. Well? Wu Jiu slowly stood up, a strong aura soaring around his body. Accepted. Protector Wu Jiu accepted his challenge. It's hard for Wu Jiu to refuse him. I don't know what the boy is thinking. He dares to challenge Wu Jiu. He is looking for death. Protector Wu Jiu has entered the Bloodmoon list for a long time and ranks high. Today he destroyed the Wing Gang and killed Xin Tianyu by himself. How powerful the Protector is. He must be comparable to a half-saint expert. Who is the boy? Doesn't he overestimate himself? I've never seen him before. He should have just joined our team. I know him. He's called Swordsman, who was brought by Bei Mu and Leng Yang. I hear both of them wanted to recommend him as Protector. It seems that he can't be a Protector because his cultivation is too low. Many experts began to talk about it. They did not know of Jian Wuxuang and looked at him with disdain. However, the members of the 9th squad had seen Jian Wuxuang's real strength, so they felt confident about this fight. Those people don't know it is not Wu Jiu but Swordsman who killed Xin Tianyu. Tai Shan sneered. Wu Jiu dared to accept. Just wait and see, he will regret this. Swordsman beat him. The other experts of the 9th squad roared in their hearts. Jian Wuxuang stood dozens of meters away from Wu Jiu, who held a long black spear. Swordsman, you've just arrived at the Tang dynasty and just met a few experts. I'm afraid you've had fights with lesser experts, so you don't know the experts on the Bloodmoon list well. Today I'll show you, Wu Jiu said with a contemptuous look. I am looking forward to it, Jian Wuxuang replied with a smile. His triple kill sword was already unsheathed. What a pity. Our Bloody Blade team will lose an expert. After finishing his words, Wu Jiu suddenly pushed off with his right leg and dashed out like an arrow. In the blink of an eye, he jumped over a dozen meters and unleashed his long spear toward his opponent's chest, with a harsh sound of piercing the air. It seemed as if a poisonous snake had stuck out its tongue. How fast? Too fast. That's the strength of experts on the Bloodmoon list. We're all at the peak of the Yang Void realm, but none of us can hold a candle to Wu Jiu. The other experts of Bloody Blade team could not help but sigh. Faced with the stroke, Jian Wuxuang just gave a faint smile. Chapter 286, A Twist. Chapter 286, A Twist. Swoosh. A chilling flash of a sword flew out and hacked right at the point of the spear, freezing Wujia's attack for a moment. Oh! Wujia was amazed. He blocked my attack so easily? That's right. When Bei Mu and Leng Yang recommended him as a protector, they said that they couldn't beat him in a short while even in cooperation. Though it was due to their not trying their best, it still proved that this guy is much stronger than an ordinary expert in the peak of the Yang Void realm. It seems that I have to show a bit more strength to take him down, Wujia thought. He twisted his hands in a quirky way to throw his long spear at Jian Wuxuang. Along with this move, a huge vortex suddenly appeared. Whoosh. He launched 3 attacks in succession with his spear, and each of them was as fast as lightning. Jian Wuxuang brandished the triple-kill sword and withstood the attacks. Bright sun. A sliver of light flashed in Wu Jiao's eyes. He raised the spear high and thrust at Jian Wuxuang quickly. Jian Wuxuang held his sword up to defend himself. Though he succeeded, the power of the attack pushed him down, and the ground where he stood cracked under the force. Thunderous explosion. With a loud shout, Wu Jiao held back the spear and then thrust again, like a dragon rushing at its target. Brat, go to hell? The dragon was so fast that Jian Wuxuang could barely defend himself by putting the sword across in front of his chest. 2 forces crushed together, throwing Jian Wuxuang away as if he was blown off by an explosion. He fell on the edge of the martial arts practice field and bumped into the walls, cracking it into pieces. Powerful. So strong. The other members of the Bloody Blade team widened their eyes in shock. Humph, arrogant stupid, don't blame me when you see the King of Hell. Wu Jiao snorted. But just as he finished his speech, with a slight crack, from the broken walls emerged a figure who slowly walked to him. He didn't die? Wu Jiao looked at Jian Wuxuang in amazement. He is still alive? Not injured at all? He looks fine without even a scratch. The members of the team were all astonished. Protector Wu Jiao, I thought you were as strong as you claimed to be. But it seems like you are not. I'm really disappointed, Jian Wuxuang said, shaking his head. Wu Jiao was in a daze for a second, while the other experts of the Bloody Blade team were stunned. Having shown his strongest abilities, Protector Wu Jiao was still nothing more than a disappointment in Jian Wuxuang's eyes. No wonder you rank below 600th on the Bloodmoon list, Protector Wu Jiao. To tell you the truth, you are not even close to Xintianyu. Jian Wuxuang started moving as he was speaking. Just in a moment he crossed over 30 meters and came up to Wu Jiao. With his arrival came a puff of fog, coming into being the realm of sword essence that wrapped Wu Jiao up. In the fog, suppressed by the sword essence, Wu Jiao could hardly move. Just then, a shaft of dazzling sword light suddenly appeared and dove straight to Wu Jiao from above. Frowning, Wu Jiao quickly thrust at the light with his spear. Clang. With a loud sound, Wu Jiao was forced to stagger backward, stern-faced. But in the very next moment, sword flashes struck at him successively with frightening power and at an unbelievably fast speed, like roaring storms. This guy, Wu Jiao hurriedly waved his spear to block the unceasing attack in horror. Just in a breath, he successively blocked several attacks, but soon he found himself not able to keep up with the speed of the attacks. I can barely withstand the next attack. Wu Jiao's heart tightened. A cold metallic flash of the sword that shone like the light of the sun soundlessly reached Wu Jiao's ear, making him chilled to the bone. But at that moment he was not able to struggle but could only watch the flash getting closer to his face. As the sword was about to pass over his head, it suddenly changed its course. Clap. The sword slapped in Wu Jiao's face, making a loud sound, and his face began to turn into red and swollen. After spitting out a mouthful of blood, he smashed to the ground. Swoosh. The sword flashed again, and this time it hewed the ground beside Wu Jiao, whizzing past his arm. Crack. The center of the martial arts practice field was cracked into 2 parts by a long, bottomless rift measuring tens of meters. The crack was in the shape of the sword. Looking at the rift beside the ground where he was lying on, Wu Jiao swallowed hard, his throat getting dry. He knew that if that attack had aimed at him, his body would have been cut into 2 parts like the ground. Protector Wu Jiao. Jian Wuxuang walked slowly up to Wu Jiao, looking down at him. Trembling, Wu Jiao stared back at Jian Wuxuang. You, Wu Jiao wiped the blood off from the corners of his mouth, trying to get up. Seeing Jian Wuxuang suddenly get closer to him, Wu Jiao was more frightened and took a step back, saying, "What are you going to do with me?" At this moment Wu Jiao was in extreme fear. Nothing. Jian Wuxuang drew closer to Wu Jiao and said in a low voice, "Protector Wu Jiao, I'm not interested in being a protector or the purple crystal spiritual liquid, not because I am afraid. Don't piss me off or I'll let you bear the consequences. Though you're the expert on the Bloodmoon list and very strong, you're not made of iron and will die if you have your throat cut." Jian Wuxuang stared at Wu Jiao sharply up close. Wu Jiao was trembling and he could feel Jian Wuxuang's killing intent. He finally understood that because of Jian Wuxuang, a strong expert beyond imagination, the 9th team could kill Shen Tianyu. "By the way, it's time for you to give back what you borrowed from me, Protector Wu Jiao," Jian Wuxuang continued. "What things?" Wu Jiao was stunned. "Shen Tianyu's body. I heard you took away the body, but I didn't say that you did not need to return it," Jian Wuxuang replied with a casual smile. Upon hearing this, the experts of the Bloody Blade team were suddenly clear about the whole thing. Chapter 287, Sword Tide. Chapter 287, Sword Tide. I never thought that Shen Tianyu was not killed by Wu Jiao at all. I had been wondering about this for a long time. Shen Tianyu ranked much higher than Protector Wu Jiao on the Bloodmoon list, so naturally he should be stronger than Wu Jiao. Back when they were in the Golden Wing City, Protector Wu Jiao and Protector Bei Mu together could only suppress Shen Tianyu. How could it be possible that Protector Wu Jiao killed Shen Tianyu all by himself? Now, it has turned out that the one who killed Shen Tianyu is Swordsman, not him. Right, only a top expert like Swordsman could kill Shen Tianyu. No wonder Wu Jiao would be so generous to treat us to the Skyheart wine. He contributed no efforts in killing Shen Tianyu, but he carried that corpse to get the reward. The surrounding experts of the Bloody Blade team began to talk about Wu Jiao with disdain, and Jian Wuxuang with worship, although they had been dismissive of Jian Wuxuang earlier. Like the law of the jungle, the law of this world was that whoever possessed the greatest strength was the king. "Protector Wu Jiao, you should give me back Shen Tianyu's body, shouldn't you?" said Jian Wuxuang, coldly staring at Wu Jiao. At that time Wu Jiao could not find a word to response. "Doesn't matter if you can't. It took me and my bros of the 9th team much effort to kill Shen Tianyu. We don't mind that you claim the honor, but it will be too much for us if you want to keep the treasures awarded by His Excellency for yourself." Jian Wuxuang smiled faintly, but suddenly he came close to Wu Jiao to talk to him in a low voice. "Wu Jiao, hand the treasures over and I'll let what happened today be, or..." Jian Wuxuang stopped talking, but his strong killing intent showed what he wanted to say. Wu Jiao looked pale and unwillingness filled his eyes. But at this moment he was like a fish in Jian Wuxuang's net, and all he could do was to give Jian Wuxuang everything the master awarded no matter how unwilling he was. "That's more like it," Jian Wuxuang said with a smile. Not even sparing a second glance for Wu Jiao, he turned back and walked up to the earthen jars of wine. He carried one jar on his shoulder and said, "Brothers, since Protector Wu Jiao wants to treat us to this wine, we'd better accept his kindness, shouldn't we?" Wow! 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 Shouts of joy resounded through the whole martial arts practice field, and many experts of the Bloody Blade team came up for the wine and started enjoying drinking. As for Wu Jiao, no one bothered to care about him anymore. With one jar of Skyheart wine on his shoulder, Jian Wuxuang went back to his manor with the others of the 9th team. They gathered around a stone table, drinking, laughing and talking. "Haha, who would have thought that Wu Jiao's expression when he was defeated by Bro Swordsman would make me so delighted," said Taishan, laughing out loud. "Wu Jiao is always domineering. What a pleasure to see him fall down today," said Emoing with a smile. "I heard he ordered others to keep this a secret when we left. Aha, how funny." Seeing that Wu Jiao was beaten and even humiliated by Jian Wuxuang in front of others, every member of the 9th team felt more than happy. All this was due to Wu Jiao's bad character, and what he had done this time was bad enough for others to sneer at him. Before this, they could do nothing to him but swallow their anger. Now with Jian Wuxuang things were different. In the world where the strongest could lord it over all others, even though Jian Wuxuang had defeated Wu Jiao and put him to shame, Wu Jiao could not do anything for revenge. Instead, he would have to be in awe of Jian Wuxuang as he was much stronger than him. "Captain Taishan, in this interspatial ring is the treasure awarded by His Excellency. Please take it and share it with other brothers." Jian Wuxuang took out an interspatial ring and handed it over to Taishan. "Why do you give this to us?" Taishan frowned. "You killed Shen Tianyu all by yourself and we have nothing to do with this honor. This ring. There is nothing more than the purple crystal spiritual liquid in this ring, so take it easy." What's more, since all of you exerted your efforts, how can I keep it myself? Wuxia said with a smile. Haha, Captain, Swordsman is not the kind of man who would care about purple crystal spiritual liquid. If he gives it to us, what we should do is to accept, said Xue Ying, grinning. Tai Shan smiled silently and refused no more. Fine, we share it equally. Good. The others of the 9th team began to allocate the purple crystal spiritual liquid in the ring with excitement. Wuxia did not join them. He left alone and walked to the center of the courtyard, sitting down with his leg crossed and his eyes closed. Meanwhile, the mist made of sword essence spread all throughout from his body. Sword fog. Ha, it's very generous of His Excellency to grant a reward of so much purple crystal spiritual liquid. No wonder Wuxia would treat us to Skyheart wine, 'cause compared with the liquid he was awarded, the Skyheart wine was nothing, Xue Ying said and laughed loud, but suddenly he seemed to realize something and looked Wuxia's way. Swordsman is. The others of the team followed his eyes. Hush. Be quiet, don't disturb him, Tai Shan said in a low voice. The others nodded. They stared at Wuxia blankly by the stone table without a word. Under their gaze, the mist given off by Wuxia slowly transformed. The mist was getting thicker and thicker, and when thick enough, it began to turn into drops. In a jiffy, the drops gathered into a river, waving like a tide. The area filled with mist already became a zone surrounded by the tide. Sword Tide, the second move of Sword Realm. It only took Wuxia 3 days to master the first move of Sword Realm Sword Fog. As for Sword Tide, he had been digging into this all the time and was only one step away from mastering it. Earlier today, when fighting with Xintianyu and Wuxia, he performed Sword Fog and simultaneously obtained a brand new insight of this move. It was not until now that he was able to perform the second move Sword Tide. The power of Sword Tide was much stronger than that of Sword Fog. Tai Shan, Xue Ying, and the others of the team were all shocked looking at the tide of sword essence, and they felt a sense of crisis as if they would be killed once they were blanketed by it. His battle strength improved. The 9 experts of the 9th team stared at Wuxia, eyes widened, and their expression was beyond description. Chapter 288, The Outbreak of the Decisive Battle. Chapter 288, The Outbreak of the Decisive Battle. Beep. The tide around Wuxia suddenly dispersed before Wuxia opened his eyes with a smile. Swordsman, you just... Tai Shan and the others walked up to him right away. With a bit of luck, I made some small breakthrough in sword skill, Wuxia said. He seemed to be in a good mood. But his words made the others unable to help sighing. In their eyes, Wuxia was already incredibly powerful, but now he became even stronger. Though it was only a small breakthrough in sword skill, it still implied that he had enhanced of his strength. I'm so jealous of you. Xue Ying sighed as he was stuck in the peak of the Yang Void Realm for a long time. Just then, everybody fall in. A voice thundered in the void above the whole Heartless City, where the Master and the protectors of the Heartless sect hovered over at the top, with their powerful aura spreading all over the place. The voice caused a stir in the whole city, and a large number of figures began to rush skyward. The members of the 9th team all headed up. Something is wrong. Tai Shan frowned. Let's get there quickly. The 10 members of the team immediately rushed away. In the void there were assembled numerous experts, most of whom were in the Yang Void Realm because of them being able to step on air, and there were even thousands of experts floating therein. Probably, the experts above the Yang Void Realm and the entire Heartless sect have gathered around. All of you follow me. The Master of Heartless sect shouted and led the crowd out of the city. Among the crowd, Wuxia knit his brows slightly. Not only His Excellency himself but also all the experts in the sect are here. It seems like they will have a life and death struggle with the Demon's Island. Just as Wuxia had expected, it didn't take them long to get to a huge city, which used to belong to the Heartless sect, but now a fierce fight had erupted there. The two sides fighting were exactly the Heartless sect and the Demon's Island. Listen up, everyone, tie a red cloth around your arm and kill every living thing that doesn't have one. The Master of Heartless sect commanded. The experts of the Heartless sect immediately took out a red cloth and tied it around their arms. Begin kill. Eyes burning with anger, the experts of the Heartless sect followed the order, rushing into the city. When they arrived, the experts of the Demon's Island who were impatiently waiting, swarmed at them quickly. Hi, you heartless old guy, watch how I raze your sect to the ground today, yelled a well-built bare-headed man standing at the top of the void with a jet-black long staff in his hand. The aura of the level of half-saint spread out from him, which made him look like a war god. "Damn you, Baldy. Let's see who will be the standing one at the end," the master of Heartless Sect said cruelly, dashing straight toward that bald man. In a twinkling, the fight between the two half-saint experts began. The experts of the Heartless Sect and the Demon's Island tangled together, and their battle cries reached the heaven. "Go to hell. Slay them, fight. Go to hell, bastards of Demon's Island." The experts of the two forces fought fiercely, intensifying the battle instantly. The Bloody Blade team, which Jian Wuxuang belonged to, was in an intense fight with a team of Demon's Island about its equal. "Go to hell." Hair matted and eyes bloodshot, a savage man appeared in front of Jian Wuxuang, chopping toward him with a mountain-cutting broadsword. A cold light flashed in Jian Wuxuang's eyes. He stabbed toward the man at the speed beyond imagination, like a snake soundlessly attacking its prey. The triple kill sword pierced through the man's heart, leaving a large hole through it. Swish. A streak of blood-red light came over beside Jian Wuxuang like a ghost. It was a black-robed woman staring at Jian Wuxuang coldly. Jian Wuxuang slashed at her backhanded. The woman was blasted away by the powerful force and died directly without any struggling. Seeing that two people in the peak of the Yang Void Realm died in Jian Wuxuang's hands in such a short while, the surrounding experts were all shocked and terrified. How could he be so powerful? Who is he? It looks like that he could be comparable to the experts on the Bloodmoon list. Haha, he is called Swordsman, the top fighter in our team. Jian Wuxuang's teammates were overexcited, while the others might be amazed or surprised. "I'm so delighted. It's been some time since I fought with such gratification," said Imoing while fighting with an expert of the Demon's Island. Suddenly, a long spear aimed at his back. "What the hell?" Spotting the attack, Mo Ying's expression changed. Just when he was about to avoid it, the owner of the spear was put down by Jian Wuxuang behind him. "Watch out, bro," Jian Wuxuang said to Mo Ying. "Thanks." Mo Ying raised his eyebrows before going on fighting. Long sword in hand, Jian Wuxuang swept over the battlefield around him, slaughtering the experts of the Demon's Island with ease and sometimes lending his teammates a hand. The triple kill sword also began to quiver frantically in the killing. Is the triple kill sword going to have a breakthrough? Jian Wuxuang's eyes twinkled with pleasure. The sword had restored to a magic weapon of a low second grade for a long time and helped him kill many experts afterwards, mostly because his father killed two experts in the Saint realm with the sword and the Saint's blood supported its restoration. After that, Jian Wuxuang killed many experts himself with the sword, which leveled the sword up to its peak as a magic weapon of a low second grade. Now, signs showed that it was going to break through the peak. I should kill more to help the sword. Jian Wuxuang laughed and shuttled through the throng like a ghost. Puff, puff, puff. As he moved, the experts of the Demon's Island successively fell under his sword. He picked up the stronger ones to kill, and among the dead, the weakest were at the initial Yang Void Realm while the most were at the peak of the Yang Void Realm. Actually, many experts on the battlefield had noticed his killing spree. Who is he? How could he be so strong? It's so easy for him to kill an expert at the peak of the Yang Void Realm. He definitely should be on the Bloodmoon list. I heard there are only 7 protectors in the Heartless Sect on the Bloodmoon list. When did it get one more? Damn it. Since our 7 devils were busy fighting with the 7 protectors of the Heartless Sect, none of them is free to handle him. Chapter 289 Xue Ying. Chapter 289 Xue Ying. As they were among the great 4 forces in Skywave Prefecture, the Heartless Sect and Demon's Island were well matched in strength. The Master of Heartless Sect and the Lord of Demon's Island were both half-saints. Previously there were 8 protectors in the Heartless Sect, all of whom were listed on the Bloodmoon list. But now there were only 7 left because one of them had been killed. Likewise, Demon's Island also had 7 devils on the Bloodmoon list. So, the seniors of each force were currently equal. However, all the devils were busy fighting with the protectors so they could not stop Jian Wuxuang at that moment, which allowed Jian Wuxuang to freely kill without facing any resistance. But his slaughtering attracted their attention. Haha, it's Swordsman. Seeing how Jian Wuxuang was slaughtering the enemy, Bei Mu and Leng Yang could not stop laughing. These two had fought with Jian Wuxuang before and knew that Jian Wuxuang was as strong as the experts on the Bloodmoon list. So they were not surprised at what they saw, but the other protectors who didn't know were amazed. Is that him? The man introduced and recommended as a protector by Bei Mu and Leng Yang. Yes, he is so young and his realm isn't high, so we doubted his qualifications to be a protector, but now it seems that we were too biased. He is young as well as strong enough to be on the Bloodmoon list. That bloke, Wuxia, who was battling one of the devils of Demon's Island, glanced at Jian Wuxuang maliciously, his heart filled with hatred. Haha, Baldy, it seems that you will be the one who is defeated. The laughter from the master of Heartless Sect resounded throughout the area after he noticed Jian Wuxuang's excellent performance. Never thought you would have a hidden expert as strong as an expert from the Bloodmoon list. The master of the Demon's Island, a bald man with a strong aura, said as he snorted. Obviously. Though the master of the Heartless Sect was smiling, he was a bit surprised in fact. No wonder Bei Mu and Leng Yang, two men of vision, would recommend him. He is indeed very strong, and with him we are going to win the battle. Certainly they were currently winning the battle. Without Jian Wuxuang, it would have been hard to tell who would be the winner since the two forces were neck and neck. But Jian Wuxuang broke the balance and tipped it in the Heartless Sect's favor. Like what was happening now? Jian Wuxuang had killed many young Void Realm experts from Demon's Island, freeing up the experts of the Heartless Sect to help out other teammates. In this way their advantage was constantly increasing. It looks like we're winning. The bastards of Demon's Island must die. Send them to hell. The experts of the Heartless Sect roared, overly excited. Baldy, your island is going to lose. The cold voice of the master of Heartless Sect reverberated from above, where a pitched battle was going on between the seniors of the two forces. Lose? Will I? The bald man asked while smiling weirdly. Seeing that smile, the expression of the master of Heartless Sect immediately changed and uneasiness arose in his heart. This battle was instigated by Demon's Island. Their strength was similar to the Heartless Sect, so they wouldn't start a war without a special reason. Everyone knew that once the battle started, it would cause destruction to both sides. But Demon's Island still started one. There was definitely something fishy about this. As the master of Heartless Sect was lost in his confusion, a flowing red streak of light plunged into the battle at an amazing speed, quickly reaching the side of a protector. The red figure began attacking the protector. Holy God! Shocked, the protector waved his scythe in an attempt to defend. The scythe collided with the flowing red light and was knocked away. The next second, the flowing light grabbed at the protector's head. A half-saint. Fear gripped the protector's heart. With a cracking sound, his head was twisted off by the flowing light. Finally, the flowing light revealed itself, a red-robed old man with a goatee. His withered fingers and sharp nails made his hands look like a falcon's talons. With a head in one hand, the old man smiled rather strangely. Damn it! In the air above the battle, the master of Heartless Sect stared fixedly at the old man with a gloomy expression. Xue Ying. He recognized him. Xue Ying, a half-saint expert, ranked 131st on the Bloodmoon list, only a little lower than that of him. If they were fighting face-to-face, he was confident that he could beat him. However, at this moment, he had another half-saint expert to deal with, the Lord of Demon's Island. With him being forced to fight with the Lord of Demon's Island, there wouldn't be anyone who could hold Xue Ying back. Bastard, you asked Xue Ying to help you? The master of Heartless Sect looked grim. Haha, did you really think that I would have waged a war against you without Xue Ying's help? The bald man replied back and sneered. On the battlefield, after killing a protector of the Heartless Sect, Xue Ying turned to his second target, Wuxia, another protector. Oh no! Seeing Xue Ying rush towards him, Wuxia was so scared that he thought of nothing but escaping and leaving the battle. But Xue Ying was so fast that he easily caught up with him and killed him in the very next second with cooperation from one of the devils of Demon's Island. The second one. Coldness flashed in Xue Ying's eyes, which then fell on the third target, Protector Leng Yang. Boom. Xue Ying flew towards his target like a flowing red streak of light. Back when Xue Ying first plunged into the battlefield and killed the first target, the triple-kill sword in Jian Wuxuang's hand began to fiercely tremble, signifying that a breakthrough was coming. The triple-kill sword made it. Jian Wuxuang could feel the power of the sword bursting, and a glint flashed in his eyes. The triple-kill sword had been upgraded from low second grade to middle second grade. Small as the upgrade might be, it still brought the power of the sword up a level. Jian Wuxuang had seen Xue Ying kill 2 protectors of the Heartless sect, so he decided to take action. A half-saint, so what? Jian Wuxuang narrowed his eyes and his battle intent became stronger. Since my sword skill as well as the power of the triple kill sword are better and stronger than before, these normal experts from the Bloodmoon list are no longer a threat to me because of my current power. Only the upper-level half-saint experts are worthy opponents. Xue Ying, 131st expert on the Bloodmoon list. I can't wait to feed my sword with your blood. Chapter 290 Fight with a Half-Saint Expert. Chapter 290 Fight with a Half-Saint Expert. The Heartless sect had previously gained the upper hand with the help of Jian Wuxuang. However, after Xue Ying showed up and killed 2 of their protectors, the whole situation had changed. Xue Ying was rushing toward the 3rd protector, Leng. Leng, run. Bei Mu, who was busy fighting, cried out. Damn it, Leng said while looking toward Xue Ying with a dark expression. He wanted to escape, but he could not find a chance because he was tangled up with a devil of Demon's Island. Not far from him, Xue Ying's eagle-like sharp claw was lashing towards him like lightning. Leng Yang's expression changed. Suddenly, boom. Suddenly the surrounding area surged and a huge whirlpool appeared. In the center of it, there was a dazzling streak of sword light that was directly slashing towards Xue Ying. If he did not block it, the attack would cut Xue Ying in 2. Xue Ying frowned slightly before immediately blocking the streak of light with his sharp claw. Clang. The hits collided with each other, letting out a metallic clash. Xue Ying raised his head in astonishment, wanting to see the attacker clearly. At this moment, the attacker's leg seemed to take the form of a long whip as it smashed toward him, with a harsh sound. Xue Ying immediately retreated. Leng, are you all right? Jian Wuxuang moved towards Leng. Swordsman. Joy flashed across his face as Leng instantly expressed his gratitude. Thanks. You're welcome. Let me deal with him. Jian Wuxuang looked toward Xue Ying with a smile. Okay, just be careful, Leng said while nodding heavily. Jian Wuxuang and Xue Ying stared at each other. You reckless dude, go to hell, Xue Ying said with a sneer. He looked like a flowing red light as he rushed forward, launching another attack with his sharp claw. This time, 5 scratches emerged from the space in front of him. Demonic Claw. Because it was being performed by a half-saint expert like Xue Ying, the scary claw attack was even more terrifying. However, Jian Wuxuang just smiled coldly. He took a step forward, wielding his triple kill sword to collide with the space in question. Selfless Sword Technique, 6th move. This brilliant stroke collided with the sharp red claw marks that had suddenly appeared. With a huge booming sound, the scary power exploded. An instant later, the power from the streak of sword light and the flowing red light spread out in all directions. Dozens of experts were affected by it. Some of them experienced cuts to their chest or shots to their legs. The most unlucky ones had their heads cut off. The power was so fierce and intense that dozens of corpses within a 100-meter radius began falling down. What happened? The experts who were currently locked in a fierce fight became completely stunned. All of them looked toward Jian Wuxuang and Xue Ying with a terrified expression. Swordsman, it's him. He blocked the half-saint expert Xue Ying. Many experts of the Heartless sect immediately recognized Jian Wuxuang. This guy, Xue Ying was shocked. Even as a half-saint expert, he had not gained the upper hand when fighting with a young boy who had only reached the initial Yang Void realm. Jian Wuxuang wore a cold smile at this moment. Then his roaring sword essence spread out like the rising tide and lashed against Xue Ying. What? Xue Ying felt as if he was stuck in mud, which affected his speed and strength. Earlier he was able to fight evenly against Jian Wuxuang, but now he was losing ground. Boom. Xue Ying was forced to retreat. I tried my best but still lost ground? Xue Ying was surprised. Jian Wuxuang's smile. I have the upper hand in a head-on confrontation. Since I can't fight against him in a head-on confrontation, I'll kill him using my speed, Xue Ying thought. With cold eyes, Xue Ying suddenly disappeared and a red streak of flowing light flashed through the air. In the next moment he appeared by Jian Wuxuang's side, reaching toward his opponent's head with his cold, sharp claw. Shwa. The sharp claw directly glanced off the boy's head, but it didn't leave a drop of blood. Whoosh. Jian Wuxuang suddenly appeared behind Xue Ying. His triple-kill sword took on the appearance of a thunderbolt and lightning as it lashed out. How fast? Xue Ying thought in shock, turning around to block it. Wuxuang's powerful swordsmanship erupted. Streaks of sword light spread out at an amazing speed, shaking the surrounding area. World Origin also erupted, instantly causing Xue Ying to fall into the sea of sword shadows. Xue Ying widened his eyes and struck out with his sharp claws. He barely blocked those attacks but could not find a chance to fight back. More importantly, he was besieged by the flowing tide of sword essence, which restricted his strength and speed, so he could not catch up with Wuxuang. I'm not his match. Xue Ying's face fell. Though he was reluctant to admit it, that was the truth. This guy is terrifying. If I continue to fight with him, I will die. After a while, Xue Ying lost his will to fight. Lord of Demons Island, you never mentioned that the Heartless sect had such a powerful expert. Xue Ying yelled with a snarl while crazily blocking the blows. The forlorn roar was so loud that all the experts in the battlefield could hear it clearly. In the next moment they all felt surprised. Lord of Demons Island, I promised to help you sweep out the Heartless sect, but I have to protect myself first. Now that my life is threatened, I can't keep my promise. See you? Xue Ying roared in a low voice. Then he turned to run away. Xue Ying, who was a half-saint expert ranked 131st on the Bloodmoon list, was escaping? Chapter 291, Slaughter. Chapter 291, Slaughter. All the experts were astonished. They were shocked indeed. They did not expect that a half-saint expert would run away. Xue Ying, the Lord of Demons Island, was also stunned while recalling Xue Ying's words. His life was threatened? A kid in the initialing Void Realm could threaten his life? No matter how shocked they were, Xue Ying was definitely running away. However, Wuxuang had not agreed to let him escape. Since you came, stay here forever. Wuxuang's cold voice, full of laughter, resounded through the area. Then he immediately chased after Xue Ying. As Xue Ying's speed was affected by the realm of sword essence, Wuxuang easily caught up with him. Kiddo, I'm leaving. I've decided I don't want to be involved in your fight. Don't push me. Xue Ying glanced at Wuxuang and cried out. Don't push you? You attacked and killed our protectors. Didn't you already go too far? Wuxuang said in a cold voice, but sneered in his heart. It's not easy to meet an opponent like you. I won't let you go so easily. Go to hell. Wuxuang rushed toward Xue Ying. You really want to kill me? Xue Ying roared with a scary look. I'll have a try and see whether I'm able to kill you. Wuxuang grinned. Then his soaring killing intent spread out. The sky seemed to darken. Faced with such tremendous killing intent, other experts could not help but feel frightened. The moment Wuxuang raised the triple kill sword high, a towering phantom giant appeared behind him and held up a long sword as well. Suddenly the stroke slashed down. Blood emptying technique, the first move. Boom. The murderous stroke appeared in front of Xue Ying. Faced with its power, Xue Ying could not help being frightened. This is Slaughter Origin? Xue Ying was shocked. Wuxuang had used World Origin while fighting with him. Though it made him perfect in all aspects, it limited his strength so that his attacks were not as offensive. That was the reason why Xue Ying dared to say that Wuxuang could not kill him. However, Slaughter Origin was totally different from World Origin. Slaughter Origin emphasized killing, which was more offensive power than World Origin. The power of this stroke Wuxuang performed caused the area to shake. I'm in big trouble. Xue Ying widened his eyes and made up his mind to fight to the death. Blood Spirit. With a terrifying look, Xue Ying was suddenly surrounded by a blood light. The streaks of light gathered in his palm, and his fingertips as well as his eyes, immediately became extremely red. Suddenly Xue Ying rushed forward, like a wild wolf pouncing on its prey in the dark. Then he waved his claw. The stroke pierced the air, humming violently. After colliding with the killing sword, boom. The strongest move Xue Ying was able to perform was completely overwhelmed. How is this possible? It surprised Xue Ying when his strongest move was defeated so easily. The sword in your hand? Xue Ying stared at the triple kill sword. Now he knew that long sword was extraordinary. Don't struggle. Accept your death obediently. My sword can't wait to drink your blood, Wuxuang said with a sneer. Then he appeared in front of Xue Ying. Against the realm of sword essence, Xue Ying could not escape, but he still tried his best to struggle. After a while, A wave of sword strikes stabbing a body was heard. Then Xue Ying's aura began to vanish. Xue Ying let out a snarl resounding throughout the whole area. Lord of Demons Island, you set me up. The rumble made the whole battlefield quiet. Everyone was in shock as they watched Xue Ying's body falling down. Everyone looked awed at that moment. A real half-saint expert died like this? A young expert in the initial Yang Void realm actually killed him? Run now. Lord of Demons Island, floating above the area, let out a terrifying cry. At this moment, Xue Ying's words still resounded in his ear. After Xue Ying died, Demons Island suffered from low morale. More importantly, Wuxia had the time to attack the other devils of Demons Island, and he was able to slaughter all of them easily. There was no doubt that Demons Island lost this fight. It was an extremely miserable defeat. They invited a helper but still failed in the end. All of this resulted because of one person, Wuxia. The Heartless sect has such a powerful young expert. Has he really only reached the initial Yang Void realm? The Lord of Demons Island shook his head with resignation. As Demons Island started to retreat, the Heartless sect seized the opportunity to hunt them down. Haha, kill them all. Many experts of the Heartless sect roared with excitement while chasing their opponents. Wuxia did not follow the crowd because he did not put those devils in his eyes. Now he fixed his eyes on the Lord of Demons Island. Whoosh! Wuxia dashed out and appeared by his target's side in an instant. The face of the Lord of Demons Island immediately changed. Haha, Swordsman, we can work together to kill the Lord of Demons Island. How about it? The Master of Heartless sect looked toward Wuxia with a smile and spoke politely. Okay, let's go, Wuxia said with a smile. Crap. The Lord of Demons Island narrowed his eyes. The next moment he ran away without hesitation. You can't escape. Wuxia stared at the Lord of Demons Island and knew his intention. He immediately launched an attack and the realm of sword essence swept out like the tide. The Lord of Demons Island was stuck inside, and his speed suddenly plunged. Wuxia and the Master of Heartless sect did not give him any chance to strike back, directly rushing forward. Chapter 292, The First Protector. Chapter 292, The First Protector. Lord of Demons Island was not much stronger than Xue Ying, so he was only able to struggle for a short period of time before he was killed by Wuxia and the Master of Heartless sect. The Baldy had been fighting against me for many years. But he is finally dead, the Master of Heartless sect said inside, while standing in front of the Lord of Demons Island. Then he looked toward Wuxia and said with a smile, Swordsman, your realm of sword essence is really special. Without your realm of sword essence that restricted his speed, we would not have been able to kill him so easily. It's just a little trick, Wuxia replied with a casual smile. Sword realm was a special and powerful sword skill. As a superior third-grade sword technique, it was not weaker than an inferior second-grade sword technique. You have lots of tricks, Master of Heartless sect continued with a smile. Today you killed a half-saint expert by yourself. Compared to your strength, I feel ashamed of myself. I believe the Bloodmoon list will have your name soon. You will definitely rank high, at least higher than me. The Master of Heartless sect was very clear that Wuxia was stronger than him. After all, he could only try his best to defeat a half-saint expert, but he could not kill such an opponent. However, Wuxia could kill a half-saint expert in a straightforward fight. After Xue Ying and the Lord of Demons Island died, the final fight eventually ended. The Heartless sect seized victory, and Demons Island collapsed because of the death of their lord. This fight caused a sensation in the whole Skywave Prefecture. Numerous experts were shocked by the deaths of the two half-saint experts. A name spread through the whole prefecture. Swordsman. A man who had reached the initial Yang Void realm had killed Xue Ying by himself. Then he killed the Lord of Demons Island with the Master of Heartless sect. Everyone marveled at his strength. The next day the Bloodmoon list was updated with a great change. Swordsman ranks 99th. He has reached the initial Yang Void realm. It's confirmed that his attacks were straightforward and he killed Xue Ying, a half-saint expert whose strength remained at the peak. There were many half-saint experts on the list, but few could kill a half-saint expert with a frontal attack, so our Bloodmoon Hotel affirmed that Swordsman was qualified to rank 99th. With the affirmation from the Bloodmoon Hotel and his battle results, Jian Wushuang's ranking was instantly accepted by the public. Haha, he ranks 99th, much higher than me. The master of Heartless Sect laughed out while reading the rankings. He was sitting with several protectors in the lobby of the Heartless Sect. He admitted that Jian Wushuang was stronger than him, so he thought it was normal that Jian Wushuang ranked higher than him. Swordsman, you're famous now, the master of Heartless Sect said with a smile. Ranked 99th? Jian Wushuang wiped his nose and gave a faint smile. The other protectors congratulated Jian Wushuang. Only 5 protectors, including Bei Mu and Leng Yang, survived this fight. Listen, the master of Heartless Sect suddenly said seriously, from now on, Swordsman will be our first protector. His position is equal to mine. All of you must follow his orders. Understand? On hearing this, the other protectors smiled while looking at each other. They started to salute Jian Wushuang one by one. I pay my respects to the first protector. Jian Wushuang did not know how to react. Swordsman, I fail to recognize your strength. So please don't refuse my invitation to be the first protector, Master of Heartless Sect said. First protector. Jian Wushuang thought for a moment before nodding. Fine. Haha. The Master of Heartless Sect laughed out and spoke. Wuxia had been in charge of the Bloody Blade team, but now he is dead, so you can take his duty. What do you think? Okay, Jian Wushuang nodded and replied, but I will spend my time focusing on my cultivation, so unless it's something very important, I won't participate. No problem, the Master of Heartless Sect immediately agreed with it and continued, though you are just in the Yang Void realm, you have the battle strength of a half-saint expert. You don't need to deal with trivial things. Unless I meet a half-saint expert who I can't handle, I won't bother you. That's fine. Jian Wushuang nodded. The news that Jian Wushuang became the first protector and took charge of the Bloody Blade team spread through the Heartless Sect. Many experts were not surprised since they had seen Jian Wushuang's strength during the battle. They thought Jian Wushuang deserved this. It caused a stir in the Bloody Blade team though. The experts of the 9th squad were excited. After Jian Wushuang came back, they enjoyed a few drinks in celebration. The night was as black as ink. Jian Wushuang sat on his bed with his legs crossed while deliberating about his plan. Once I'm familiar with the surroundings of the Tang dynasty, only then I can carry out my plan. A glimpse of battle intent flashed in Jian Wushuang's eyes. On the road to the Tang dynasty he had made a plan. Now it was time to carry out it. Jian Wushuang moved his mind. Then a blood-red figure appeared in front of him. The figure wore a blood-red robe and a wicked blood-red mask. He stood there with a roaring killing intent, as if he were a death Shura who just walked out of hell. This was Jian Wushuang's slaughter doppelganger. Jian Wushuang waved his hand and gave the triple kill sword to his slaughter doppelganger. From now on, you're Nan. Go ahead. Jian Wushuang gave an order. His slaughter doppelganger nodded slightly and immediately left the room, disappearing under the moonlight. From now on, my slaughter doppelganger will begin to slaughter around the Tang dynasty with my triple kill sword, while I will stay here to meditate on the world origin. Jian Wushuang thought in private. The slaughter doppelganger had its own consciousness, so he could leave it to go out killing on its own. His true self and his doppelganger could work separately. Chapter 293 in 1 year. Chapter 293, in 1 year. In the Tang dynasty, there was a prefecture called Ninth Heaven Mansion, which was one of the 21 large prefectures. In the mansion, there was a force named Thousand Nether Palace, the master of which was a half-saint expert named Huoyu. He ranked 138th on the Bloodmoon list, much lower than Xue Ying, who was killed by Jian Wushuang. Among the half-saint experts, Huoyu was at the bottom of the pile. In the Thousand Nether Palace, a middle-aged man with purple hair, wearing a purple robe, lay on a bed at ease, with 2 beautiful maids serving him fine food and even fine wine within his reach. Suddenly, boom! A fierce and loud thunder sound was heard throughout the palace, followed by a low voice. You sure are comfortable, Huoyu? Hearing the voice, Huoyu's expression changed quickly. With a move, he reappeared up in the air and saw the uninvited visitor. The visitor was wearing a red robe and a red wicked mask on his face, with a long sword in hand. The man's overwhelming killing intent brought an icy cold feeling to the palace. Who are you? Huoyu stared at the visitor, frowning. He was a bit scared of the killing intent he sensed from the man. You can call me Nan, Jian Wushuang's slaughter doppelganger replied and continued, I came here to battle with you. Let's start fighting. Haha, ridiculous. How dare you, a nameless man not even on the Bloodmoon list, come here to challenge me? Wuxia said and smiled coldly. All I have to do is kill you and my name will be added to the list. With no more words, the slaughtered doppelganger began to attack. You're courting death. Furious, Wuxia began to directly battle with the slaughtered doppelganger. Just a short while later, the battle was settled. The half-saint expert Wuxia was killed on the spot. The next day, a new name, Nan, as well as his battle results for killing Wuxia, was listed on the revised Bloodmoon list. Wuxuang's slaughtered doppelganger, Nan wandered around the Tang dynasty, challenging experts everywhere. In terms of strength, the slaughtered doppelganger was weaker than Wuxuang's true body, but just a little. But, since the doppelganger could also display the skills that Wuxuang mastered, like Sword Realm, in addition to carrying the triple kill sword with him, he was able to kill ordinary half-saint experts. Most of all, the slaughtered doppelganger was comprehending slaughter origin, which required a lot of meditation and killing. However, comprehending world origin didn't require this, so Wuxuang could carry on his comprehension leisurely by himself. This was also the reason why Wuxuang had separated himself from the slaughtered doppelganger. The doppelganger comprehended the slaughter origin by killing in different areas, while Wuxuang himself sat down to comprehend world origin in the Heartless sect. The two kinds of comprehension were going on simultaneously, yet independently. In this way he was yielding twice the results. How time flies. From spring to winter 1 year had passed. During the year, several staggering events had happened in the Skywave Prefecture. The first event was the demise of Demon's Island. Its territory had been annexed by the Heartless sect and 2 other forces. Having gotten the most benefits from the demise, the Heartless sect had become the most powerful force in the Skywave Prefecture due to both the Master of Heartless sect as well as Wuxuang, who ranked 99th on the Bloodmoon list. The second event was the sharp rise of the Willow Leaf School, an organization established by the half-saint expert Lu Yi. It took the place of the Demon's Island, becoming one of the great 4 forces in the Skywave Prefecture. Outshining the other 2 forces, it almost stood on equal footing with the Heartless sect. The third one was the fall of the Willow Leaf School. After Lu Yi was killed, the Heartless sect swallowed up the entire domain of the school, and without difficulty, it soon eradicated another force. At last, the Heartless sect was recognized as the top force in the prefecture. All 3 of these events had caused huge sensations, especially the last one. The sect master of the school, Lu Yi, was very strong enough to be listed in the top 100 on the Bloodmoon list. After its sharp rise and before its demise, the school had provoked the Heartless sect and the 2 sects had engaged in battle many times. Lu Yi had even fought head-on with the Master of Heartless sect and almost killed him. After surviving the battle, the Master of Heartless sect came back and personally asked Wuxuang for help. He had planned to cooperate with Wuxuang and fight against Lu Yi. But, on the night that he asked for help, Wuxuang broke into the Willow Leaf School alone. Most of the experts of the school, even Sect Master Lu Yi, were all killed by Wuxuang that night. For a time the whole Skywave Prefecture was in shock. The next day Wuxuang's ranking on the Bloodmoon list was revised, raising it to 86th. After that night, no forces in the Skywave Prefecture dared to provoke the Heartless sect. There was a lake outside the Heartless city, remote and unfrequented. Since Wuxuang first went there half a year ago, he had been there every single day fishing by the lake. Along with him were 2 experts. The sun was going down and the whole world was quiet. Wuxuang closed his eyes, feeling the peace around him. He enjoyed it very much. In such tranquility, he was able to comprehend the world origin much more efficiently. In the recent half-year he seemed to spend every single day fishing there. But, instead of fishing he was actually concentrating on comprehending the world origin. During the fishing, he had made great progress in comprehending the world origin. Though his comprehension was still at the level of momentum, he had still made good progress. Momentum could be used to activate the origins of heaven and earth. But, how much of the origin could be applied depending on the individual's level of comprehension? Although Wuxuang had already reached this level and was able to use the origins, he could only apply 2/10 of them. After a year of comprehending them, he now could apply at least 8/10. There was no doubt that the power behind 8/10 of the origin was much stronger than that of 2/10. Besides, his cultivation had broken through from the initial Yang Void Realm to the profound Yang Void Realm during the year. Any breakthrough in the Yang Void realm could make a huge difference in one's strength. Jian Wuxuang reaching the profound realm, together with his progress in comprehending the origin, made him much more powerful than before. Chapter 294, The Unexpected Trouble. Chapter 294, The Unexpected Trouble. Swish. Sitting by the lake, Jian Wuxuang raised the fishing rod and pulled a big carp out of the water. He took the fish off the fishhook and put it in his basket. The two men standing behind him were Tai Shan and Mo Ying. They had been on good terms with Jian Wuxuang since his time in the 9th team, and they had been by his side ever since Jian Wuxuang became the first protector of the Heartless sect. "Protector, you got a big haul today," Tai Shan said with a smile. "Not bad." Jian Wuxuang nodded. Looking up into the sky, he continued, "It's getting late. Let's go back." He stood up, carried the rod on his shoulder, and then headed toward the Heartless City with Tai Shan and Mo Ying. Before they had gotten far, Jian Wuxuang suddenly stared up into the air, where a figure was rapidly rushing forward. From the looks of it was a thin young girl. "Oh no. They're catching up with me, but it will be some time before sister arrives. What should I do?" The small figure was running as fast as she could, as if she was escaping from some horrible thing. Just then she noticed Jian Wuxuang and the others below. Her eyes glinted as she dived toward them. "You three there, help. Help!" yelled the small figure that was crying while flying. "Stop right there." Tai Shan and Mo Ying stepped in front of Jian Wuxuang and stopped the girl. "You little beggar, get out of our way," Tai Shan shouted coldly. Jian Wuxuang studied the girl. It was not an overstatement to call the girl a beggar. Clothes tattered, hair scattered and muddied all over. This 15 or 16-year-old girl looked much like a beggar. But Jian Wuxuang, Tai Shan and Mo Ying all understood that in the Tang dynasty, the country of death, even a beggar could be a strong expert. Moreover, this dirty girl came to them while void walking, which meant she was not an ordinary expert. "Please, some people are chasing me. Please hold them off for a moment. Here, I got this interspatial ring from a half-saint expert, and I'll give it to you as long as you help me," the little girl begged. Raising his eyebrows, Jian Wuxuang subconsciously looked at the interspatial ring, and through his consciousness he saw lots of treasures and purple crystal spiritual liquid inside. "It's true," Jian Wuxuang said with an odd expression. There was a large amount of treasures and purple crystal spiritual liquid in the ring, comparable to all the property that one half-saint expert would normally own. What confused Jian Wuxuang was how this little girl had gotten the ring from a half-saint expert. Jian Wuxuang didn't respond to the girl's request. He stared off into the distant sky, where a dozen people were rushing toward them. "They're coming." The girl looked frightened. Quickly, those people arrived in the air above them with a black-clothed elder as their leader. A half-saint. Jian Wuxuang's expression changed a little when he saw the elder. Led by a half-saint, even every single man of the group was at the peak of the Yang Void realm. It was very rare to see such a battle formation in Skywave Prefecture. The black-clothed elder looked down and his eyes immediately fell on the little girl. "Boy, give that girl to us," the elder shouted. Jian Wuxuang glanced at him and said, "She is right there, get her if you want to. We have no business here." "Oh." The elder lifted his eyebrow. "Let's go," Jian Wuxuang said to Tai Shan and Mo Ying, starting to head back, not even sparing a second glance at the little girl or the elder. Tai Shan and Mo Ying followed him. The girl became anxious, but she suddenly had an idea and shouted, "Hey, how could you just leave me alone like this after I gave you that treasure?" Jian Wuxuang's face darkened. Sure enough, upon hearing the girl's words, the elder swooped down and blocked Jian Wuxuang's way. "Boy, she gave it to you?" the elder asked coldly. "No," Jian Wuxuang replied. "Liar. You promised me that you would stop them if I gave that treasure to you, and I did. But now, seeing they're strong, you chickened out." The girl pretended to be angry. "Boy, hand it over," the elder yelled. "I won't say it again. She didn't give me anything." Coldness flashed in Jian Wuxuang's eyes. "Didn't she?" the elder sneered. "Well then, you three, give me your interspatial rings and let me check through them. I'll let you go if it's not in them." "Check my interspatial ring?" Jian Wuxuang gave him a smile as chilling as a blade. "I'm afraid you are in no position to do that. You are courting death." Shouting, the elder started moving and crossed the distance between them in an instant. An explosive sound was heard as the space in front of Jian Wuxuang shattered, and a palm containing a powerful force aimed for Jian Wuxuang's head. Jian Wuxuang was provoked. Piss off. Not bothering to use his sword, Jian Wuxuang clenched his hand into a fist. Terrifying power was gathered inside it, and then it was thrown at the elder. This blow, containing the power of the world origin, caused the whole area to tremble. Boom. The elder was blown away by the power and was forced to retreat a few hundred meters before he regained his balance. How can this be possible? The elder was shocked. He is just in the profound Yang Void realm. While the elder was thinking, a name emerged in his mind. In the profound Yang Void realm, long sword on his back, quite young, your swordsman? The elder called out. Even though Jian Wuxuang was only in the profound Yang Void realm, he was ranked 86th on the Bloodmoon list, which made him somewhat famous. As soon as the elder learned of Jian Wuxuang's strength, he recognized him immediately. Now that you know who you're fighting with, why don't you piss off with your men right now? Ying shouted. Humph, swordsman. Looking gloomy, the elder turned to Jian Wuxuang and said, I know that you have won some fame in the Skywave Prefecture, but I didn't know that you had the nerve to stick your hand in the business of the Mansion Master. Hearing this, Jian Wuxuang could not help squinting. Chapter 295, Sister? Chapter 295, Sister? Mansion Master. Although there were many forces in the Tang dynasty, all of them would intentionally avoid naming themselves with Mansion. The Tang dynasty was divided into 21 large prefectures, and in each prefecture there was one real top expert acting as the Mansion Master. Normally it was an expert of the Saint Realm. In Skywave Prefecture, the only one that could be referred to as Mansion Master was, of course, the Lord of Skywave Prefecture. They are from the Skywave Prefecture? Looking at the elder, Jian Wuxuang pulled a long face. The Heartless sect was recognized as the top force in the Skywave Prefecture, but the prefecture itself was not included in the ranking. The Lord of Skywave Prefecture was a half-saint, like the black-clothed elder. But in truth his strength surpassed ordinary half-saints. On the Bloodmoon list, the Lord of Skywave Prefecture ranked 21st, even though he was just a half-saint. All the experts who ranked 22th to 27th on the Bloodmoon list were in the Saint Realm, but even they ranked lower than the Lord of Skywave Prefecture. Which meant the man was stronger than ordinary experts of the Saint Realm. That was why he could become a master of a prefecture and the overlord of the region. Jian Wuxuang never thought that this little girl was from the Skywave Prefecture, and he would have had nothing to do with this if the girl had not made up a story saying that she handed over something to him. Worst of all, those Skywave Prefecture's guys believed her story. Boy, now that you know we are from the Skywave Prefecture, you should give that thing to me immediately. Otherwise, our Mansion Master will burn you and the Heartless sect into ash with his anger, said the elder in a cold voice. Jian Wuxuang shot a glance at the elder and said, Are all the people in the Skywave Prefecture as stupid as you? I told you several times already that she didn't give me anything. Believe whatever the hell you like, but if you want to solve this with violence, I don't mind playing it to the bone. Jian Wuxuang's voice was extremely cold. Skywave Prefecture? So what? He didn't want to expose himself to them, but it didn't mean that he feared their lord. The elder looked sullen and his killing intent soared. Whatever, in no way will I let you just walk away. Take the girl and kill them all. Following the order, the experts led by the elder went straight toward Jian Wuxuang and the others to kill them. You two be careful when fighting with them, Jian Wuxuang said toward Taishan and Ying. The two looked solemn, ready to fight. However, the girl hid behind Jian Wuxuang and spoke in a low voice, Just a moment. Please hold them off. My sister is coming here and when she arrives they'll have no hold on you. Humph, you're so cunning, I'm sure your sister will be too. Jian Wuxuang gave the girl a dark look. This whole thing should have nothing to do with him, but now he was involved for such a ridiculous reason. This girl really had caused him some unexpected trouble, so he was not going to give her a kind look. The elder and his men started attacking. Get the hell out of my way, Jian Wuxuang thundered. He drew out his sword and when he held it up, an overwhelming power burst out. As he swung the sword at his opponents, the surroundings seemed to be stirred by his sword. This blow was overwhelming and swept over everything. Seeing this blow, the elder could not help being frightened. He immediately shouted, Quick, work together and stop him. The experts from the Skywave Prefecture all tried their best to block Jian Wushuang's attack, and they made it, but only just barely. The blow cast all of them away. No way. So powerful. Jesus. The elder and the experts from the Skywave Prefecture were stunned. As far as they could see, Jian Wushuang was much stronger than an ordinary half-saint. I didn't use my full strength in that blow, Jian Wushuang's cold voice resounded throughout the area. It was true. He just used the power of the origin and the fifth move of the selfless sword technique in that blow. Since he didn't display the sword realm, it was indeed an attack with reservations. Hearing this, the black-clothed elder stood there while hesitating. But right at that moment, the whole world suddenly came to a standstill. The wind lulled and the raindrops froze in the air. Jian Wushuang, the black-clothed elder, and the others in the area felt like they couldn't breathe. They were barely able to keep a clear mind, yet unable to move even a bit. Time seemed to stand still. What's going on here? Jian Wushuang was panic-stricken. Taishan and Ying, who were behind him, as well as the black-clothed elder, and the others in front of him, stared in horror with their eyes wide open. Terrible horror. Horror to such an extent that they had never experienced before. Even Jian Wushuang felt some fear rise in his heart. Except for the little girl. She smiled happily when seeing the sudden change and said, "My sister arrived." The girl moved away and leaped into the air. The frozen space seemed to have no effect on her at all. Though Jian Wushuang and the black-clothed elder could not move, they managed to look in the direction which the girl moved to. In their sight, a frosty woman in white, beautiful beyond description, was walking toward them. Whiter than snow, eyes like a clear spring, she was so elegant and graceful that everyone would be stunned and feel a sense of inferiority while looking at her. But, in spite of her cold appearance, there was something about her that caused everyone to be unable to resist being lost in reverie. Is she a goddess? An expert from Skywave Prefecture murmured. Goddess, she was indeed a goddess. Even Jian Wushuang was stunned by the woman's beauty and aura. She was like nothing in the world. She was so beautiful that the many experts here, even the black-clothed elder with 100 years of experience, had never seen such a beauty. Most of all, she had a terrifying power that caused everyone to tremble. Chapter 296, First on the Bloodmoon List, Leng Rushuang. Chapter 296, First on the Bloodmoon List, Leng Rushuang. Domain. Jian Wushuang felt like everything was frozen. He tried his best to move but he could not. It made him aghast. It's too terrifying. Unbelievable. It might be stronger than domain. Jian Wushuang thought in private. The white-clothed woman who aroused all their attention finally stopped. She stood there like a peerless goddess. Elder sister. The scruffy girl called out to the white-clothed woman. You caused trouble again? The white-clothed woman asked while looking at the girl. The girl stuck out her tongue. Then she pointed at the experts of Skywave Prefecture and said, It's their fault. I just ate one thing of theirs and I said that I'm sorry, but they still keep chasing me and trying to kill me. The white-clothed woman coldly looked toward the experts of Skywave Prefecture. Her glance made the black-clothed elder frightened. He spoke in terror. My lady, we're from Skywave Prefecture. Your sister stole something precious that our mansion master has cultivated for many years. Our mansion master is furious. Before the black-clothed elder finished his words, a blast of coldness swept over. Then the black-clothed elder saw his people become ice sculptures. They became ice sculptures, and then in the next moment the ice sculptures shattered like glass and broke into pieces. The scene struck terror into the black-clothed elder's heart. Jian Wushuang, Taishan, and Ying also were shocked. Just a glance could change dozens of experts into ice sculptures and then cause them to shatter. What kind of trick was this? What did you say? Repeat it again. The white-clothed woman looked down without any emotion in her eyes. No, the black-clothed elder said in terror while shaking his head. It's my fault. I'm sorry. May I beg for your mercy? The white-clothed woman snorted. Go back and tell your master. It's my sister's fault for eating his things, but you've already chased her for so long. That's enough. We're even. If he is not satisfied, he can come find me. Tell him my name is Leng Rushuang. Leng Rushuang? Jian Wushuang felt a tremor in his heart. He was stunned. Leng Rushuang ranked number 1 on the Bloodmoon list. There were 26 experts of the Saint Realm recorded on the Bloodmoon list. As their strength changed, their rankings often fluctuated. Several years ago, a person entered the list and ranked first. From then on, that person kept their rank. That person was Leng Rushuang. She had killed more than one expert of the Saint Realm with bizarre methods. She did not make any moves. She just used her mind to turn experts of the Saint Realm into ice fragments. No one knew how powerful she was. No one knew her origin either. Even her age and cultivation remained unknown. Definitely, she was one of the most mysterious and creepiest experts in the Tang dynasty. The person who built the Tang dynasty was also a mysterious monarch who had led it to develop to its current extent. Wuxia did not expect that this beautiful woman was Leng Rushuang and that the scruffy girl was her sister. Wuxia was only shocked by this, but the black-clothed elder actually shivered in terror. His legs trembled. Looking at Leng Rushuang, the black-clothed elder shook his head like a rattle and said, "No. Our mansion master feels that it was his great honor to have his treasure stolen by your sister." Leng Rushuang glanced at the black-clothed elder. "You can go." It seemed as if everything was back to normal. Wuxia and the others could move again. The black-clothed elder felt relieved. He respectfully bowed to Leng Rushuang and turned to leave. Obviously, he was petrified. "Let's go." Wuxia gave an order and they turned around, ready to leave. But the scruffy girl suddenly blocked their way. "My elder sister only let the old guy go. Why are you leaving?" the girl said while smiling at Wuxia. "Sister, these three guys bullied you? Do you want me to kill them for you?" Leng Rushuang looked toward the three warriors. Wuxia's heart missed a beat. He was clear that he was not her match even if he performed soul-devouring secret skill. If he fought with her, he would become ice fragments. "No, I don't." The girl shook her head. "They didn't bully me. Instead, they helped me a lot. Especially this guy, he blocked those attackers by himself." The scruffy girl winked at Wuxia. Then she turned her gaze toward Leng Rushuang and said, "Elder sister, this guy helped me a lot. Please reward him to express my gratitude." Leng Rushuang felt a tremor in her heart and glanced at Wuxia. A warrior of the profound Yang Void Realm could block a half-saint expert and a group of experts at the peak of the Yang Void Realm. Not bad. "Big brother," the scruffy girl said while looking toward Wuxia. "Do you want something? My sister is powerful. No matter what you want, she could give it to you." Wuxia frowned slightly. He raised his head, threw a glance at Leng Rushuang and then snorted. "Sorry, I don't need anything." Then he waved his hand at Tai Shan and Imoing. "Let's go." The three warriors left directly. "Elder sister, why not stop them?" the scruffy girl asked. "Obviously, the guy didn't want to form a relationship with us. So why did stop them?" Leng Rushuang replied. "But he did do me a favor. Our father told me that we should show our gratitude to someone that helps us," the scruffy girl said. "You dare to mention our father. You sneaked out while our father was in closed-door cultivation. You should be worried about how our father will punish you," Leng Rushuang said in a low voice. Chapter 297, Swordsman, Come Accept Your Death. Chapter 297, Swordsman, Come Accept Your Death. In the huge residence of Skywave Prefecture, a muscular middle-aged man with big eyes and bushy eyebrows sat in the chair, tapping the armrest with his fingertips. The man had a deep, scary knife mark on his forehead and he was surrounded by a violent aura, similar to a monster. This man was the mansion master of Skywave Prefecture, Man Yen. In front of Man Yen stood a person, the black-clothed elder who was afraid of Leng Rushuang. "You didn't get it back?" Man Yan's eyes widened like copper bells as he stared at the black-clothed elder. "I'm incompetent," the black-clothed elder answered in terror. "I caught up with the girl, but I didn't expect that she was Leng Rushuang's sister. Leng Rushuang showed up to save her, and I did not have an opportunity to strike back. She wanted me to tell Mansion Master that you could go find her if you are not convinced." "Leng Rushuang?" Man Yen squinted. Even he held Leng Rushuang in awe, so he did not dare to pick a fight with her. "Asshole." Man Yen stood up while violently slapping the armchair into dust, then said, "I've cultivated the three-colored spiritual vine for dozens of years. In order to get it, I paid a high price, let alone years of cultivation, but now." Man Yen was furious. but he had to bear the resentment in his heart. The three-colored spiritual vine was precious. More importantly, it was the main ingredient for refining a Saint Breakthrough Elixir. A Saint Breakthrough Elixir was the only hope for him to reach the Saint Realm. He had been collecting the materials needed to refine it. As of now, he had gathered all of them, except for the three-colored spiritual vine, which had yet to mature. He never expected the girl to steal it right after it matured. That was the reason why he was so filled with rage and resentment. However, he could do nothing as it was Leng Rushuang's sister who took the three-colored spiritual vine away. Her sister seemed to have already eaten it. What could he do? The black-clothed elder was secretly in shock. He was afraid that Man Yin would vent his anger on him, because he knew the three-colored spiritual vine was important to the mansion master. Suddenly, the black-clothed elder raised his eyebrows and spoke. Mansion master, in fact, I originally had a chance to get the spiritual vine back. What do you mean? Yang Zixuan looked toward him. I had already caught up with the girl. When I was ready to catch her, I was blocked by Swordsman, the first protector of the Heartless sect, so I could not grab the girl, the black-clothed elder replied. Swordsman? You mean the man who killed 2 half-saint experts in our Skywave prefecture? Man Yin said in a low voice. He was the mansion master, so he knew about the things that happened in his prefecture and had heard of the name. Yes. The black-clothed elder nodded and continued, I could have caught the girl and gotten the spiritual vine back. Then I could have released the girl and made an apology to them when Leng Rushuang arrived. However, Swordsman blocked us. He dared to block you? Man Yin said with killing intent gushing out. Moreover, when I bumped into him, I used Mansion Master's name, but he did not care, the black-clothed elder added in an attempt to fuel his anger. How dare he? Man Yin snorted, with endless fury in his eyes. It's true that I don't dare to piss off Leng Rushuang, but even a little expert doesn't put me in his eyes. He is courting death. Man Yin had no place to give vent to his anger, so he could only vent it on Jian Wuxuang. Huang Fu Ming, Man Yin shouted. A figure immediately appeared in front of Man Yin and spoke respectfully, Mansion Master. Go to Heartless City right now and bring me Swordsman's head. Man Yin gave the order. Okay. Huang Fu Ming nodded. Let me go with you, the black-clothed elder said, then followed him. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Led by Huang Fu Ming and the black-clothed elder, a large number of figures flew up into the air in the Skywave prefecture. Bro Huang Fu, you must be careful when fighting with Swordsman. His cultivation is low, but he is really powerful. Previously, dozens of experts at the peak of the Yang Void Realm and I were repelled by him with one stroke, the black-clothed elder said. Do you think that I am a trash like you? Huang Fu Ming said while glancing at the black-clothed elder. The black-clothed elder paused with an embarrassed look and then coldly replied, I hope you win the fight. Huang Fu Ming lifted the corner of his mouth up, ignoring it. Swordsman has killed 2 half-saint experts, but the 2 experts' strength was ordinary. He was able to kill them because he used a trick to slow down their speed. It isn't because of his real strength. Huang Fu Ming poured scorn on Jian Wuxuang. Over the past year, Jian Wuxuang rose rapidly in Skywave Prefecture. Many people thought Jian Wuxuang was the most powerful half-saint expert, besides Lord of Skywave Prefecture, but Huang Fu Ming held him in contempt. In Skywave Prefecture I am the strongest half-saint expert. Swordsman is a nobody, and today I will take his head. Huang Fu Ming snorted in private. Shortly after, they arrived at Heartless City but remained floating in the air above it. Huang Fu Ming let out a cry which resounded through the whole city. Swordsman, come accept your death. He repeated it 3 times. His voice thundered and reverberated through the whole city. The voice caused a stir in the city, and a large number of experts began to rush towards the sky. Who dares to pick a fight with Protector Swordsman? Whoever dares to challenge Protector Swordsman is courting death. Those people. Many experts of the Heartless sect became furious. Now Swordsman was comparable in status to Master of Heartless sect. Many experts idolized their first protector. The moment they heard someone tell their idol to come and accept death, they could not help but get angry. It didn't take long for them to recognize the challenger's identity. People from Skywave Prefecture? The experts of the Heartless sect were shocked. At this moment, the Master of Heartless sect Void walked and appeared in front of Huang Fu Ming. Chapter 298, Fight to the Death. Chapter 298, Fight to the Death. Mr. Huang Fuming, I wonder why you have come to our Heartless Sect. Master of Heartless Sect spoke in a low voice. Master of Heartless Sect? Huang Fuming cast a glance at the Master of Heartless Sect, then coldly said, None of your business. Just stand aside. If you dare to step in, there is no need for your Heartless Sect to exist. Huang Fuming. The expression of the Master of Heartless Sect changed. Huang Fuming, who was unwilling to talk with the Master of Heartless Sect, looked downward with his cold eyes. In a courtyard, Wuxia, who had just returned, squinted and looked up at the sky. The moment he moved his body and appeared in the air, he saw Huang Fuming and the black-clothed elder. Just as I expect, they are from Skywave Prefecture. Wuxia did not feel surprised and knew why they came. They don't dare to make trouble for Leng Rushuang, so they came to piss me off. The Lord of Skywave Prefecture is quite narrow-minded. Wuxia sneered. Are you swordsman? Huang Fuming looked towards Wuxia. Huang Fuming. Wuxia also recognized the challenger. Huang Fuming was the half-saint expert that ranked 41st on the Bloodmoon list. All the experts within the top 27 had reached the Saint realm, except the Lord of Skywave Prefecture. As the only half-saint expert, he also had battle strength in the Saint realm. Huang Fuming could rank 44th, indicating that he was one of the strongest among the half-saint experts. Huang Fuming is much stronger than Xue Ying and Lu Yi. Wuxia thought. Swordsman, you must know why I'm here. You offended our mansion master. I've been ordered to take your head, Huang Fuming said coldly. There are many people who want my head. Who is he? Wuxia gave a contemptuous smile. He was not afraid of Holy Emperor Palace. How was it possible to put a Lord of Skywave Prefecture in his eyes? You are courting death. Huang Fuming shouted. He moved his wrist and a double-edged giant axe appeared in his hand. He took a sudden step in the air, causing invisible waves to spread out. He immediately lifted up his giant axe and hacked at Wuxia. The slash was extremely powerful, seemingly strong enough to cut through a mountain. Wuxia stared at it coldly, with a cyan long sword in his hand. The ordinary sword only looked sharp. However, a roaring power erupted as Wuxia's spiritual power surged. Selfless sword technique, 5th move. Blood-rupturing movement. His world origin suddenly erupted, shaking the surroundings, as if the whole world in front of him was being suppressed. They launched frontal attacks without any tricks. Boom. Wuxia halted and was instantly repulsed. After retreating back almost 100 meters, he regained his stance. I performed blood-rupturing movement with all my strength, but I was still overpowered by him? Wuxia thought in surprise. The famous swordsman is just so, Huang Fuming said with a cold smile. I underestimated you at first. Then try my 6th move, Wuxia said indifferently. The 6th move, you still can't overpower me. Huang Fuming lifted his double-edged giant axe, with a rush of battle intent in his eyes. His body became larger at this moment, and a scary aura began gushing out. The giant axe suddenly lashed out. Selfless sword technique, 6th move. While remaining composed, Wuxia swung his long sword again. Boom. This time Wuxia and Huang Fuming retreated at the same time. Both of them were repelled more than 1,000 meters. Huang Fuming even retreated to the edge of Heartless City. This time the result was a draw. Good, you live up to the position of a top expert who ranks 41st on the Bloodmoon list. Since I matched you with the 6th move, accept my 7th move, Wuxia said with a casual smile on his face while lifting his sword. The 7th move? Huang Fuming's face changed. He had performed his best move with that attack, which was barely enough against the 6th move Wuxia displayed. Now what would happen if Wuxia performed the 7th move? Go to hell. Wuxia's cold voice resounded through the area as his long sword violently lashed out. Suddenly the world fell into darkness. In the darkness, only a brilliant stake of sword light remained, lighting up the world. Huang Fuming began to panic and performed his best move again. The moment his stroke collided with the streak of sword light, his giant axe was knocked away. Then the sword light, still at full power, slashed through Huang Fuming's body. Huang Fuming widened his eyes, but his body was already split in two. All the onlookers were shocked. An eerie silence fell upon all of Heartless City. Countless eyes were fixed on Jian Wuxuang. Jian Wuxuang slowly withdrew his sword and could not help but shake his head while watching Huang Fuming's body fall down. He really is strong. If I fought with him a year ago, I would not have killed him so easily. But now he was not even qualified to see the 8th move. Jian Wuxuang spoke frankly. On hearing this, everyone was petrified. The 8th move? He could perform the 8th move? He did not use all of his strength. Everyone shouted in shock. Huang Fuming, who ranked 41 on the Bloodmoon list, was considered a top half-saint expert. However, Jian Wuxuang killed him without using his full strength. What did it mean? Their first protector might not be far off from the strength of a real Saint Realm warrior. In fact, after a year of cultivation, Jian Wuxuang's strength improved greatly. He could kill a half-saint expert a year ago, so there was no doubt that he was extremely powerful now. People haven't noticed it because he rarely displayed his moves. Skywave Prefecture. I originally thought I would go there after a period of practice. Now that the Lord of Skywave Prefecture has come to find me first, I'll take the next step forward. Jian Wuxuang thought and looked toward the black-clothed elder. Listen, go back to tell your lord that I will fight to the death with him outside of Heartless City in 3 days. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.